All right, Kyle here, Lake Vermilion Houseboats. We're doing our orientation video for our executive houseboat. We always start on the back deck. Under these motor covers, there's one on each side. There's one here, and then there's one on the port side of the boat. We lift those covers up and we trim the outboards up to have the guests take pictures of the prop and lower unit of the outboards. After that, we always start with the generator. So the generator here, very simple operation. So basically, we have a couple switches here. So the main switch right here needs to be in the on position. Then it's just a press button. You just press it in. You don't hold it. You just press it, and the generator will start. Same thing to turn it off. Just press the stop-start button. It'll turn off. So we supply a couple jugs of gas for the generator for your fuel needs during your stay, and we can give you more if you need more. We can also bring that out during the service run. What we try to explain to our guests is with the generator, when the generator is running, it is supplying power to all the outlets of the houseboat. So anytime you're needing to run anything electrical, that could be the hot tub. This boat has air conditioning, both top and bottom. So anytime you're running the air conditioner and the generator needs to run, anytime you're using the microwave, TV, basically anything where you're plugging, charging a cell phone, anytime you're plugging anything to an outlet and want electricity, the generator has to run. That's what powers the outlets on the houseboat. Also, when the generator is running, it's charging our deep cycle batteries, and our deep cycle batteries power our overhead lights. They power the water pressure pump, and they power the thermostats on the refrigerators. So basically, while this is running, it's charging those batteries, and we want you to run this a minimum of 4 hours a day continuously. Typically on the bigger boats here, that's not an issue. The coffee maker is electric, microwave, hot tub. Typically you're running it more than that, but we do request and require that you run the generator a minimum of 4 hours a day continuously. That'll keep those deep cycle batteries charged up. Basically, so you keep your overhead lights, keep your water pressure, keep your fridges operational during your stay. So after we kind of go over the generator, we go up top and we look at the hot tub. We'll head up there. So here we are, we're on the top deck, the executive houseboat, looking at our hot tub. So we always go over this during our orientation. So the main thing we stress to our guests is every time you run the generator, we want somebody to walk up to the top deck. We want them to turn the jets on the hot tub, and then these up and down arrows. So up increases your temp setting, down decreases it. So we always recommend the tub presets at 100 degrees when it starts. We recommend that the guests come up here and they dial it up to 104. That's the max temp you can set this unit at. So we can't stress this enough. Every time you run the generator, one of the guests needs to come up to the top deck, hit the jets button to start the hot tub, and dial up the temperature to 104. That's going to keep the hot tub nice and warm. You might as well be running this and keeping it nice and warm anytime you're on the generator. We also ask that you keep the lid on when you're not using it and keep it strapped down. And then the main thing with our hot tubs is, basically keeping the lid on it when you're not using it. Every time you're on the generator, jets on, dial up temperature to 104. And then the other thing we stress is it's really a hot tub made for 2 adults. So if you put more than 2 adults in the hot tub, you lose a lot of volume displacement. You lose a lot of water. So you get out and you're about half full. So we do not allow our guests to add lake water to the hot tub because it just turns the hot tub into a disgusting mess. So really conserving the water that you have, always starting the jets and dialing up your temp every time you're on the generator, keeping the lid on it and not use it. That'll keep your hot tub nice and warm throughout your stay. So next we'll walk into the penthouse area up here on the top deck. So here we're inside the penthouse of the top deck on the executive houseboat. Two things we show our guests here on the here is I'll start at the helm up here. So it does have top steering up here at the helm. So the way we tell our guests to gain control of their steering is anytime we'll go over this downstairs, but you always start the outboards downstairs, and then after the outboards are started, you come up here and this button right here, you press this, you get the red lights, and so these red lights indicate that this shifter is in control. So there's the same shifter downstairs as there is up here. So basically, whichever shifter has the red lights, that's the active shifter. So basically, come up here and drive. We also have the Hummingbird GPS up here for your navigation up here. And then the next thing we show our guests is the AC unit up here in the top penthouse. So up here is your AC unit. Very simple. Again, the generator has to be running to power the AC. So keep it. There's a cold setting. You would turn it to high cool. Be your max cooling. Also, during our colder weather seasons, spring and fall, it does have a heater option up here as well. So we don't have a propane heater up here. So if you need heat up here in the penthouse during our colder stays, you need to run the generator and you would turn it to optional heat. That would give that would be your heat source. Again, cool, these are your AC. So at high AC, medium AC, and low AC. Keep it off when you're not using it. And then there is a dial here on the right side between whether you want it cool or warm. So again, cool would be for your AC, dialing it to warm if you need some heat. So now we'll go downstairs and go through the main cabin. Okay, so now we're entering the main cabin of the executive houseboat. First thing we show our guests is our toilet operation for both. There are 2 bathrooms in the houseboat. We just usually go over the 1 toilet. So kind of our saying here is number 1, lever down, and number 2, lever up. All right. So number 1 basically flushes the toilet. If you lift up on the lever, it fills the basin, so it can fill up, and you have something for it to float in, and your solids will go down after you're done using it. So that's how you operate both toilets on this houseboat. So this is our catalytic heater. Basically, to start this heater is you hold this button in, all right, and then there's a little red striker button. Okay, so then you hold this in for depending how often if you're using it daily, it starts really quickly. Again, we being the kind of the end of the summer here, we haven't used the heaters in a long time, so they're kind of flared up. So I usually wait for it to do that, and then after I see that, once you release this button where my finger is, the pilot light does go out. That is normal. So release the button, pilot light out. Then you turn the knob. So there's a low setting, a medium setting, and a high setting. The thing with these catalytic heaters is throw some people off. It does not have a standing pilot light. So basically, don't worry about that. Basically, once you turn it on, if you feel some heat coming from down here, you know that it's on. So just make sure it's on before you walk away. And when you're done, turn it all the way, be counterclockwise. That's going to be clockwise, the off position. Walk through the cabin here some more. Here's a little access panel here with all of our switches and breakers for our AC part of the houseboat. We usually like to keep that closed, and we usually have the guests take a picture of that before they leave. So I can open it up. So basically everything is labeled. So air conditioner, here's a battery charger, some outlets, more outlets, microwave, refrigerator, and AC. So basically that's set the way it should be before the guests leave. As long as you don't open this slider, nothing's going to get bumped. But it is a good idea to take a picture of that before you do leave. So make sure everything, if you have something seems to not be working during your stay, something could have got switched here. Next thing we show here is we have an operating smoke alarm, operating the carbon monoxide alarm. We do test those during your orientation, make sure they're working. Kind of come through up here. Your AC for the main cabin of the houseboat here. Very simple again. So there's an off switch. There's low fan, then low cool. So the cool needs to be in the cool setting for the AC to work. So that's your AC unit. Again, generator has to be running to power AC. Here are your 2 fridges. Basically, what we tell our guests with our fridges is there's displays a number up here. That's the temperature of the fridges. As long as that number is not blinking at you, the refrigerators are running 100%. If they start flashing low propane, something has gone wrong with the refrigerator, all right? So as long as there's a solid number temperature, the fridges are working. Inside the refrigerators, there's thermometers. That'll give you the temp reading of the fridge. Things that we kind of stress here is, the guests get here the first day, they really load the fridges up with a lot of food. The fridges can have a hard time cooling with just a big onslaught of food. So we recommend not overloading the fridges. Let them kind of acclimate. Keep stuff in coolers until the fridges get cool. Usually by the morning after your first night, the fridges have caught up and are cooling at 100%. So Faucets here on the houseboats are lake water, like all of our houseboats, so don't drink that. All right, so basically your kitchen faucet, your bathroom faucets, your bathroom showers are all lake water. Do not drink. Usually in the pantry area here in the main cabin, we have plenty of gallon jugs of fresh water for your stay for drinking and cooking. Those are included with your stay, so if you don't feel you have enough, we will give you more, and we'll bring out more during our service runs if you need them. So keep walking forward here. Here's another heater in the houseboat. So this is more your traditional ceramic heater. Very simple operation again. So basically there's a dial up here up top. It has off setting, a pilot setting, and a 1, 2, or 3. So 1's going to be your lowest, 2 will be medium, 3 will be your high setting. To start this unit, you turn the dial to pilot. You hold the button in. Here's your striker. It'll light pilot light. And then you want to hold this in for maybe 10 seconds or so. After you release it, you turn the knob to either whatever setting you want, the 1, the 2, or the 3, and it'll heat. There's 3 tiles in there, so set it to the heating choice that you like. Make sure again that it's off when you're not using it. Up here is the microwave for the houseboat. Again, microwave and TV generator has to run. That's what powers that. And the TV is a smart TV. So you use your cell phone as a wireless hotspot, and then from there you can connect the TV to your wireless hotspot and stream whatever streaming services you have, whether you're watching any sporting events or watching Netflix or whatnot. So in the binder has some kind of introduction to Lake Vermilion houseboats. Has some kind of food and local activities on the lake. Also has a very good description of our mooring sites on our lake. And very helpful. Also has some FAQs and how-tos if something seems to not be working in the houseboat. Please check that out first before you call. I did forget to mention up here in the kitchen. So up here in the kitchen fridges, so we have an inventory list for basically our kitchenware and dishware in the houseboat. And then also over here we have a little info sheet for our operations. So the first one kind of explains our service run. Second one is for basically how to contact us during mechanical emergencies. Definitely get to know these. These are very handy and note how-to guides. So, now we'll walk up to the helm up here. And typically on this houseboat, I did forget to mention, the lights can be turned off at the light, but we typically have them all on a light switch. So when you get in the houseboat, all the lights are on a light switch. You can physically turn them on and off here by hand, but that's just what we do, and you do whatever you like. So again, so we're back here at the helm, kind of go over this here. So basically the first thing we like to show is, so we have the Humminbird GPS, which is very useful. You're going to need to know how to use this to navigate the lake and to find our mooring sites. There is just a direct an individual orientation video just on the Humminbird itself on our YouTube channel. So please look at that. That's very important. So basically how to start the outboards on this houseboat. We like to start down here at our switches here, at our switch panel. So this panel right here is for our 12-volt system. So basically refrigerator, stereo, the head fan, which is, it doesn't connect anything. That's our old water pump system. That was for our old freshwater holding tank. That's not connecting anything, but the shower pump is what controls your faucet. So the shower pump, not the water pump, the shower pump controls the water pressure pump to all the faucets, kitchen, bathrooms, showers, stuff like that. So make sure that is on when you want to use the water. We do want our guests to keep the water pressure switch off, shower pump switch off as they're cruising on the lake. And then if you need to use some water while you're on the lake, just come down to idle speed. You'll turn on the shower pump. That's typically just to use the restroom and wash your hands. And then once you're done, turn it back off to get up to cruising speed. If you do leave this on and you're trying to use the water while you're cruising, you can deprime our water lines and burn up our water pump. So we want you, again, cruising, keep the shower pump off. Everything else, water heaters for the water heater, all the cabin lights, running lights, anchor lights. We don't have any running lights or anchor lights on any of our houseboats because we don't want them out after dark. So those are not connected to anything. So that's everything that should be the way it is when you get here. The bottom two are very important. These control your shifter. It's very important that when when the outboards are off, we need to keep these switches off. All right, so turn the outboards off, turn your switches off. So when you want to start your outboards and start the motors, the first thing you want to do is you want to turn these on. And when I do, my shifter's going to start beeping at me. So I'm going to turn them on. So it's beeping, and it wants control at the shifter. So here's the button here for the shifter. So once I press it, the beeping goes away, and you get your red lights here. So we kind of went over up top how to activate the shifter. Again, whatever shifter has the red lights, that's the shifter that's in control. So again, after you turn the shifter switches on, you'll hear the beeping, you press the button, you get the red lights. So at this point now you can start your motors. So you can start each motor. And then here at the helm, we have a lot of gauges. It can be a little bit confusing. Basically, these middle ones are all our old fuel gauges, which are not connected. So you leave every time the houseboat is topped off with gas. So each outboard has about a 75-gallon fuel tank, and you'll never run out of gas with us. If you stay for a whole week and go from the end of the lake to the end of the lake, you could go 3 times. You're never going to run out of gas. So just always be assured that you have plenty of gas for your stay. All the other switches, we got some basically voltage meters here. The only ones we really care about would be, this is going to be your port side RPM, be your left side motor RPM. This is going to be your starboard side, right side motor RPM. So again, about 3,000 RPMs on each motor will be your cruising speed. So, and this is the way you can hear, because typically in this boat, it's kind of loud. So when you're advancing the throttles, you're just watching your tacks. That's when you know you're giving the motor throttle. So the main thing we stress with these shifters is always be gentle with them. All right, that's shifting it into gear. Now this is advancing it to give it throttle. So don't get too jerky with this. If you do, this is an electrical shifter. You can basically air out the system. What happens is you'll air out the system, it kills the motors, it starts beeping at you. It can be kind of a nerve-wracking thing. So the main thing with the shifter is small, slow movement. So let it shift into gear. Wait about a second after you shift into gear before you advance the throttle, and you watch your tack. Same thing when you come back to reverse, shift it, wait a second. Oh. And then you can advance the throttle. So the motors are not on right now, so that's kind of why that's beeping at me. So basically the main thing is just be gentle with the shifter. Nice slow movements, and whenever you're shifting in and out of gear, wait about a second before you advance the throttle, and then just watch your RPM tacks to know when you're actually engaging the throttle on the outboard. So next thing you do, we'll walk out to the front deck here of the houseboat. So we're on the front deck. So we have a charcoal grill here on the front deck of the houseboat. And then we also have, this is where we store our plank here on the front deck. And then each side will have mooring ropes to moor, once you get to moor the houseboat, to tie the houseboat off to shore. We do have a kind of a individual orientation video on mooring a houseboat. Please look at that on our YouTube channel. But basically, all the boats are the same. All the boats come with a plank. Each the port and starboard sides come with mooring lines. You pull the houseboat into shore and tie the ropes off. And again, we go over that in the mooring orientation video. So this kind of concludes our orientation video for our executive houseboat. Thank you.